Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the recording for skills at the rate 100 where for 100 days we are bringing for you 100 different speakers from all over the country.
The speaker is Vijay Gupta, and we have learned about some practical use cases how we can use Power Query in our daily life.
So now, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 65th session of Skills at the Rate 100. And today we have a very special topic and we are going to start something special for this month. All this month we are going to learn about automation, AI, how we can make our workflows easier with the help of automation and AI. Today we have a very special session with Vijay Gupta ji, uh, who is a co-founder of Excel Champ. We are very glad, Vijayji, that you have accepted our invitation. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Lokesh. So, first of all, before starting the session, I really want to congratulate all the participants on the weekday, that too on the 10th, when the GSTR 1 date is there, we have around 70 participants. That shows the enthusiasm we have for learning. And special thanks, special congratulations to Lokesh, who is doing absolutely amazing work with the help of Skill 100, and he has already completed 65th. This is the 65th session. So consistency is one of the important thing in life, and Lokesh is doing wonderfully. Let's start our session, and let me share my screen. So today's session is again one of my favorite topic that I love. Uh, Many people who know me and the people who don't know me. So Excel is my love. So today is one of the feature that is there in the Excel that is called Power Query. That I will say the superpower inside the Microsoft Excel. So this is the journey of Microsoft Excel. So before joining this session, I believe this is being briefed by Lokesh that there are some session already happened for Power Query. So I believe the people who are joined here has the basic knowledge of Microsoft Excel, Excel 365 formulas, along with some basic of Power Query. But still, if you don't know, don't worry. I'm not in hurry. I will try to keep it very simple. I will try to give you. It's not my purpose would not be to just show you the automation and just make you amazed. No, the only purpose to give you the confidence that not only the today automation, all the other automation you can do with the help of Power Query and Microsoft Excel. So I will go very slow. If you want to repeat me again, you can just tell the host as well. If I am not able to see the chat, you can connect with me. You can connect with the host, and he will let me know. I will go slow, and I will keep on asking you if I need to somewhere where I have some milestone where I will be able to tell you that now it is the point where you can ask me the questions. So let's start it very easy way. This is the journey of Microsoft Excel that if you see from Excel 2.0 to Microsoft 365. So this is absolutely amazing thing that this is the journey of Microsoft Excel that they have completed in last so many years. So Excel is my love at first sight. I was introduced to Excel in 2008 when I was doing my ITT with the CA Institute only. So that is the first time that I saw Microsoft Excel, and believe me, from that to today, it is almost 18 years. So my love is getting like voter ready now. So it's almost 18 years that I have learned Excel, and I'm doing absolutely amazing day-to-day learning and creating lots of automations with the help of Microsoft Excel, and that is the thing that I'm doing day and night. And today, our topic is Power Query that is being introduced in Microsoft Excel in 2016. So I will keep my topic mainly around the Microsoft Power Query and the Office 365. So it was introduced in 2016, so it's almost 10 years. And let's do some interactive thing. How many of you have never used Power Query? You can simply put yes or no in this chat box. Again, the all the things that we discuss here in this session will keep in there in this session. So frankly, you can say yes or no that you have used Power Query. Yes, of course. Okay. Okay, many people, okay, Abhishek ji is saying that never, yes, no, I didn't use it, no, yes. So it's before for learning anything, the first thing required is an attitude to learn, acceptance that yes, I don't know these things. I need to learn these things. So today is the 65th session of this skill at the rate 100. And I have learned a lot from last 64 sessions. So there may be something which I am expert of, but there are lots of things in this entire world where we need to learn. So yes, the people who are saying that no, I really appreciate those people that now they are ready to learn something new in this session. So yes, my Power Query is 10-year-old now, but still it is being used, very less used by the people. So let's do some briefing of the Power Query. We all know that Power Query is a ETL tool. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. So it is more of a like, if you see Microsoft Excel has around 10 lakh of line item, but the people who are using Microsoft Excel knows that it is like just the teeth of the elephant, that it shows the 10 lakh line items are there. But if we apply the formula, even for the 1 lakh line item, the Microsoft Excel got hang. So here comes the role of Power Query, which has undoubtedly, there is no limitations of 10 lakh line items or 1 crore of line items or millions of billions of line items. That doesn't matter to Power Query, because that's why the name has been given the power. And I have created multiple tool where client was amazed that I have used 10 lakh, 20 lakh line items, created the entire automation with the help of Power Query. Power Query has another one of the amazing feature, that is it can connect to anything like files. It can import data from Excel, CSV, PDF, folder, and etc. It can connect to the database as well. Either it is SQL, Access, ODBC. You must have attended lots of session on Tele ODBC of Lokesh, where it was connected. Excel was connected using the Power Query and to the Tele itself. Web or cloud and other portals as well, where it collect the data from the different data source. it it transformed the data without using the formula. So we all know, where earlier we were using VBA, and we all are majorly from the chartered accountant fraternity. So we are not the coders. So we are not expert of the coding. So that's why Microsoft Excel introduced Power Query, where we are doing the coding without even writing even a single script of code. So that's a Power Query. I will show you there, where you can clean or shape the data, merge or append the data, pivot and unpivot. Unpivot is undoubtedly one of the major feature of the Power Query, which is not there in the Microsoft Excel. We have the pivot in Microsoft Excel, but we don't have unpivot in Microsoft Excel. Then there are group, aggregate, and there are lots of features in Power Query that we can use. And the last but not the least, that ultimately it is more of a like a die. So if we have visited any manufacturing unit, we all see that manufacturing unit create die for manufacturing any product. So once they create the die of a product, so they can simply produce as many number of items with the help of that die. That simply thing replicate in Microsoft Excel Power Query. So with the help of Power Query, we created die of an automation, that once we created a die, we can use it on n number of sheets with the n number of data with the n number of line items, but our work data will be done automatically with the help of just one refresh. So ultimately we need to set up once, save a query, then refresh it, and ultimately will be done. So, so let's start the session, because I think it's a 1 hour session. So I will keep it very crisp and informative. So let's start with this small example, and then we're gonna discuss one of the use case that I think it is one of the requirement of our all the people who are in practice as well as in industry as well. So let's go by a simple example. Okay, so we all know that Power Query has a feature to get the data from PDF. So let us first open my Excel. Let me show you that this is, let me hide my floater. Okay. So this is the Microsoft Excel. The ribbon of Microsoft Excel may be different from yours, because I use beta version. My version may be different from you, so don't get confused with the view. However, everything would be same. Some features may be added, Whatever I'm showing, if you have Microsoft 365, most of the features would be there in your Microsoft Excel. So this is the tab. If you see in this ribbon, in the data tab, this is the Power Query. If you see, it is written the get and transform data and queries and connection. So in Microsoft Excel, there is nowhere written it is Power Query. It is being the data and the queries and connection with the help of get and transform data. So this small zone is the powerful thing that is hidden in the Microsoft Excel. So if you see, we can get data, as I discussed. We can get the data from the different source, from file. If you see, if I talk about file, there are multiple ways of getting the data from the text, XML, JSON, PDF, etc. On the database, Azure, and other source as well, right? So I'm not going into that details because Power Query basic session is already been done. So let's try to create some use case. I'm talking about a small use case. Recently, 31st Jan was the last date of filing TDS returns. So whenever we file TDS return, so many of the clients have 7 to 8 TDS challan monthly, because on the different section 194C, H, J, I, and so on, Q and R and B, and lots of sections are there. So it's around 20 to 25 challans that we need to open and create a sheet. So when we create a sheet of TDS filing 26Q or 27Q, so we have some basic requirement of section, amount, DSR code, the date of payment, and the challan number. So these are the basic requirement. But when we use the PDF and we open the PDF of a challan, we see that nowadays the challans are coming in this format. So if you see, there are information are there in the PDF itself, but we need to either copy it and paste it in the Excel to create the 2025 challan and compile the 2025 challan. And at the time of audit, the entire year challan we need to provide it to auditors, or if we are the auditors, we need to create and compile sheet of the challans so that we can reconcile the data and analyze the data of the company. But this is again a tedious task, and we chartered accountants should save our time from clerical tasks so that we can use our time in some productive thing. So how Power Query can help us to automate these things and extract the data from this entire PDF set. So I'm not gonna work on single PDF, I will work on the entire PDF set. Along with this, I will tell you some tricks as well where we can use Power Query in more effective way. So let me close this PDF file. So I have opened one of the blank file. So let's go. Sachin ji is writing something. I don't know. Great. So so I am extracting the data with the help of folder. I hope my speed is okay. If you find me fast, just let me know. If there is something that is stopping you from learning, let us stop. The time is not the limitation. Again, I don't want to discuss lots of things. I just want to discuss this few things, but in details, so that after this session, you would be able to take it with yourself, something new learning with you, right? So first of all, let's give it a path of this folder where around 10 of the challans are there, right? So if I just give it this link to the folder, so I am giving Power Query a link to the folder that I need the data from this particular folder. So if you see, once I give the link to the folder, it has shown me there are 10 files and all are PDF in this Excel. So now we have multiple options to transform the data, load the data, and combine the data. So when I talk on the combined data, there are two options, either combine and load, but we know it's a PDF file and we need only specific information from this PDF file. So what we will do, so before combining, we need to transform this data as well. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just do click combine and transform data. So now what Power Query will do, it will open a new instance, that is the window of Power Query. Just like Microsoft Excel, Power Query has a ribbons as well. But before starting that ribbon, it is asking me something, that how you want to combine your files. So it is asking me which is your sample file, because there are 10 files. Since all the files are same, I am just simply saying the first file. Whatever the first file, you select the first file. Then if you see, if I select the table 1, it has, we need 5 columns here. the nature of payment, the amount is there, and then BSR code is there, challan number is there, and date of deposit is there. So ultimately, all the information are there in the table one. So we let's focus on table one only. So I am saying it of first file table one, and I'm saying okay to it. So what it will do now, it will open the Power Query window. So it is evaluating the query because we have given it a path to the folder. So it will create some of the thing in the left side to combine the data from the folder. So this is the window of Power Query. Just like Microsoft Excel, it has a ribbon where multiple tabs are there. I hope you are familiar with this Power Query, but still I will explain you in a briefing of it so that this session not only become the basic session, along with we're gonna discuss use case along with some basic thing. So these are the if you see, just like Excel, it has some tabs of home, transform, add, columns, and view. There are four tabs are there, and in every tab there are multiple commands are there. That is there for us. This is the query pane where you will see when I have given them a folder location. So it is giving me the parameters, the sample file that there is a transform sample file, and this is the compile data. So if you see right now, it is there on the challan side. This is our data, and on the right hand side, this is our query window where we will automate whatever the steps we are writing. If you see, I have just selected the first file, but it has automatically it has automatically introduced 5-6 steps here. So as I told you, this is an automation. This is in creating a die. So there are two ways of doing it. Either it has already compiled the 10 challans here in this challan file, because this is the query where data has been combined. But if you see, if I go on this transform sample file, what I would suggest, since when we are using Power Query, we are working on all the similar format database, right? So PDF of a challan is same in entire, either is 10 or 100 or 1000, it will be same. So let's create a die. Let's not work on the entire database. Let's transform the sample file, right? So if you see, it has already converted very, very beautifully the table into a particular database. So what we need to do, this is an, I think, irrelevant column, so we can remove it now from, and just see the beauty, whatever we are doing, it is creating a step of it. So whatever step we are doing, we are writing a code. I will show you that whatever step we are doing logically, it is writing a code behind it with the help of simple user friendly automations. Automation coding. It is writing code very user friendly with the help of defined logical steps. So I removed one of the columns. It has given me, I have removed one column. So now I need to select only relevant informations. So first of all, amount I need, then I need BSR code, I need challan number, I need date of deposit, and nature of payment. So there are 5 things I require for to file the data. So now if you see, it has already converted this data into table. But when we file 26Q, so the database, the challan format is different, where we need to append 10 challans here. So this is not the right format to provide it end result. So what exactly it is required? I think it required a transpose. So this should be the header of the database, and this should be the database. So this has a feature. So now on the transform side, I want to do some activity. So we can just transpose the data. So if you see, now it has transposed the data, and I'm working on the sample file. I'm not working on the entire database. I'm creating a die of it. So what is happening? It is given now the database is there in the header box, and my second row is the database. But this should not be a data. The line number 1, it is showing it is not data. It is the header. So if you see in the home side, there out of the multiple features, there is a feature that which called use first row as headers. So just click on it. You will see now the first row has become header. So what I have done, I have done some steps. I have removed some column. I have filtered some column. I have transposed the data. Then I promoted the headers, and this is the last step that it automatically do. Change type. Sometimes you can remove it. I will suggest you to remove this change type. What is this change type? Excel Power Query, Power Query do based on the database, type of database. If you see, it has automatically created this database into date. It has converted this database into date because Power Query is understanding that this is date. It has converted our BSR code and challan number into number, but we don't require that. Why? Because if I remove this change type, which is the automatically step done by the Power Query, because in BSR code and challan number, sometimes we have 0 is the first character. So we should not use that by default change type. We should remove it, and then we can do it manually if we require. Just like I want to change this to date, I can do it manually, right? This is the number. I want to keep it on a decimal way. So now we created this. I want to keep in the text itself, and this is again database. So now we have transformed the simple one file, sample file. And if you see, now it has automatically, again, the change type is there, which is giving error. So if I remove this change type, you say entire 10 challan database is there. Now we can, by default, it gives the source name because it has combined 10 files. It has given 10 source name as well, but we don't require that. So we can remove that column and we can simply place close and load. So once we click close and load, the entire PDF database would be there and it will be automatically, if you see, it is creating the 10 database by default. Since I removed the change type in the final, so that's why it has not uh, created this date into date. We will do it, but let's see. Now entire 10 challans are there in this Excel sheet automatically. Now this die is there. Either you add 10 more challan, either you remove something, it will automatically create an tabular database file with one single click. So let's do one thing. Let us first remove some challans. So let us some remove. Let me put some challan outside. I am removing some of the challan there. So now I am keeping only 2 challans here. I am keeping 2 challan in the particular folder. And if I just right click here and refresh it, you will see that it is giving 2 challans only, right? The date format is not there. We can simply right click it or double click it, or we can click Alt F12 as well. These are the shortcut command to go to the editor of the Power Query. So once we click the edit, we will again come to this window where we can do some amendment. We can save something. So in the challan, I want to again put this into as a date, and I just want this amount in the amount, and we can do it. Now I was saying that we are doing some logical step in Power Query, but Microsoft Excel is writing the codes, but we have not seen any code here right now. So if you see, then again, if I go into the advanced editor, this is the entire code which has been written by ourselves in this last 10-15 minutes to create this automated PDF extractor of challans in your own system. But I have not written a single code. I have just done some logically steps on Microsoft Excel in Power Query, and this entire coding is been done behind by the Microsoft Excel. So that's the beauty of Power Query where we can do it. So now if you see, if we want to, in this M code, this is called M code. This is the M code, just like VBA, Visual Basic Language. It is an M language that is there in the Power Query. So we should not be efficient enough in to write M code, but we should have the basic knowledge of understanding it. Now with the help of artificial intelligence, we can write down loads of M code, M language code with the help of Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or any other AI tools. But right now the path is there. So let an example, I want to share this file with someone else, or with our colleague, or my database is not there in this particular format. So what will happen? I need to change this path each and every time. So there are two, when we extract the data from the folder, so we need to change the path here as well, and sometimes here as well. the peoples who are using the Power Query know that this is again a big problem to have some path and change this query as well. So I'm giving you one very so you can say insight or a tool, a quick tip that how when you need to change the path, what you do in your Power Query window where you want to change the path, instead of changing it here in the Power Query, just go to the manage parameter, just add new parameter, right? So let's take an example in my database. Let's take an example. I think I have some new folder here. Okay, so new folder here. So let me import, let me copy this path, and I'm giving a new parameter, and I'm naming this as a path, and I'm giving a value to it. So I simply, let me repeat it. On the manage parameters, I simply added new parameters. In this parameter, I simply added name it to path, and I simply given the path of it right now, whatever the path I want. I mention path here. Now, instead in the sample file, in the source data, instead of writing entire this, copying and pasting this, I can simply write path here, and I can click OK. If it, and it has automatically taken the path. Simply in the Chlan as well, instead of writing this entire path, I can simply write path and say OK. So now what will happen right now in my folder, in my folder, in this new folder, two PDFs are there, and it has created the table with the two PDF only. Let's take an example. I want to change this path. I simply need to copy these 8 files. I'm just to show the differences. Again, in my Chalan folder, there are 2 files. So I'm pasting again the 8 files that I have removed here. So I am just copying the path here. Now I want to just change the path. So I am just copying this path. So instead of going into any query, I am just going into the path, and I am pasting my path here, and just okay. And now if you see, it will automatically take the path, and we don't need to go into view or advanced editor or some source file, which is sometimes not familiar with many of the people who are not tech friendly, who are not some Excel friendly or that kind of coding, because that I have seen many people have some fear of changing the path every time. So why not to use this trick that where you just need to put your path here, and the entire database would be there, and it will give you an fully automated Microsoft Excel based, Power Query based PDF data extraction, that too with the these are 10 challans or 100 challans or 1000 challans. There is no issue in this entire session. So what we have done, we created one simple die of one by transforming only one PDF sample file, and by transforming only a single one Excel file, one PDF file, and extracting what was required from our side. Entire the 10, 15, 20 PDFs are getting transformed on the base of that sample file, right? So that's a way you can extract the data, not only PDF file, lots of things you can do with the help of Power Query here. So till now, if you have anything to discuss, anything queries there, we can discuss, or I can move to the another use case.
Yes, the path thing is there. Path. How you brought the this manage parameter?
Okay, great. So let me again move there. So I'm going on Power Query. I'm pressing F12, Alt F12 to go into this is shortcut to go in the Power Query. So earlier, what was happening? Whenever I want to change the path, whenever I want to change the path of a database, what I need to do, if you see in in this entire query settings, query steps are there. You see there are some steps of source are there, but what is happening in this source file? If I click on the source, you will see right now it is written path. Earlier it was the entire path was written. So I don't want to make it very complex. So in the home window, in the manage parameters, in this home tab, there is a manage parameters. On this parameters, when we click on the manage parameters, there are three things: manage parameter, edit parameter, or new parameter. So if I click on the new parameter, it will open this window. So there are already there are two parameters. One is parameter 1. What was parameter 1? At the time of selecting the one PDF, I selected one of the sample file. So what it has written, this is the parameter 1 by default that Power Query has taken when I gave the path of my particular folder and I selected sample file. So this is the one which was created by Power Query. Then I created another path, another parameter. I just name it path. We can name anything to it. We can write description as well. And I posted my path here only. So what we need to do, this is the new parameter that we just created. So we can create a part 2. Let's take an example. I'm creating part 2. This is, we can write an instruction as well. Paste your database path location here, right? And we can just paste. Let an example. If I paste this database, so we can just give a path here and we will press OK. It will create one of the path. So now it has simple the path and the naming it there. So whenever you want to use Power Query, which require the path to be very dynamic and it is keep changing path. So use this trick. Just paste your location here and change the source from that particular path, particular entire database to the name that you have given. If you see, right, earlier I was writing path, it was only one path was coming, but now what is happening when I'm writing path, it is giving me both the path and part 2, because I have created part 2 as well, right? So whatever path we want to give, we can just simply give it, and every time we just need to change our location of the database, we simply need to paste it here and the entire Power Query will work. Your automation, your M code that you have written here will not hamper, will not you can say, you will feel more comfortable. I hope location that is okay. So
Yes.
okay. Again, I am trying to go very slow, very ease, because my purpose is not to explain you how we did this single PDF extraction. I want to explain you that with the help of this knowledge, you can automate lots of other things: bank statement, PDF file, GST data, lots of other PDF that you face or that you handle day-to-day basis, to extract the data with the help of Power Query and giving it in a way that you can create automation using this file. So let me close this file and let's move to the another use case. Okay. So let's move to the another use case now. I hope we are understanding what our session was, Power Query, and we are trying to uh, be very familiar with the Power Query. So it's very, very, very much important to be very familiar with the Power Query and its window, because sometimes what happens, we are very familiar with the Microsoft Excel, but when the Power Query window opens, we sometimes feel uncomfortable. But with the help of one or two use example, you would be able to use Power Query very, very easily, just like Microsoft Excel you are using. Again, you should not have any M code language, very coding language, or any tech-based knowledge. No, you don't require any that kind of knowledge. Simply the logical mind that we all chartered accountant are blessed of. We are chartered accountant only because we have the logical mind, and that is the only requirement of using Power Query. So now let's move to the another use case, which was possible only because of Power Query. I use lots of formulas of Microsoft Excel 365, but sometimes even the Microsoft 365 require a power of Power Query. So this is one of the use example where we can discuss. So the people, I am not a GST expert, uh, but still I came to know. It was asked by many of my clients as well as my partner as well as my team as well, that what happened. Let me give you a brief. That as per GST law, all the payment should be done within 180 days of the invoice date, right? So if I'm wrong in somewhere in the technically in the GST, pardon me, I'm not a GST expert, but okay, logically I would be there. So all the payment to a particular invoice should be made within 180 days of the invoice, right? So if you are making payment after 180 days, so there is an provision of interest that is charged by the department from the user, from the payer for taking ITC and whatever it is. So this is a big problem of every industry, that we don't have invoice wise mapping, that we can identify that which invoice was paid on which date, because many of the client are making on account payment. So this, letting example, this is a sample database. So this is again a very simple database I have created. uh, there are two clients I have taken, C01, client 01 and 02. So if so we can see here I have given some random invoice number to 123 date. So letting example, 400 4 like 22,000 invoice was raised for 1st of April, and we have received the payment on 471, right? So letting example, these are the debit side, these are the credit side. We need to knock off this on FIFO method, because we don't have any invoice wise knocking practice, because this is what industry is doing. So we need to knock off each invoice to the particular payment date, right? And only then we would be able to identify on the FIFO method that which invoice was paid late and which invoice was paid within the 180 days, right? But for calculating this, from letting example, this is a very small database, just to explain you, 60-40 line items, 60-70 line items there for two columns. But if I want to identify, we want to do it manually, because this is not vendor aging. In vendor aging, we just need to identify what is the closing balance of a particular vendor or something. But when I want to identify that every invoice, the payment date when it was paid. So it is very important, we need to map each invoice with each payment, and that too on the FIFO method. So on this entire database, I have created this tool where you can see it is automatically identifying these are the invoices. This is the invoice of this customer one, and these are the invoice of this customer two, which was paid beyond 180 days. And this is the interest which is required to be paid, because now the GST audits are going on. December audit department is doing GST audit, and it is identifying on that what actually 180 days, whenever the case is there of a GST case is there. So it is a very complex calculation that client, we do it for our clients, or if I'm into industry, I do it for my own company. So this is entire and fully automated Excel sheet. So right now it is showing the 75,000 is the interest that the user, this client, need to pay invoice wise interest late payment. So let's change something in this database. Let's change something. So let's change this invoice value to 14 lakh. So what I'm doing, I'm just adding. So because invoice value has changed from 4 lakh to 14 lakh. So definitely the interest should change, because now the invoice must have been payment must have been now changed, the date of payment. So let us simply see how is it really an automated. So what we need to do, we simply move to data, and I am clicking on refresh all. So interest earlier was 75,026. When we are refreshing it, we okay, that's great. So if you see, just by changing one invoice, it has changed the entire calculation, and it is giving us invoice wise late payment, because earlier it was 4 lakh invoice, now it is 14 lakh invoice. So definitely payment got short. And our multiple payment, the future payment on because of the FIFO method was used to pay this invoice only. So that's why the calculation is entirely changed. So I shown you by just refreshing it that this is fully automated. We just need to have a sample data. This is by default is a tele data only, where it has the client name. You can use it for multiple client, the date of invoice, the invoice date, or I don't know, the date should be the posting date or invoice date. I am keeping it invoice date only. So invoice number, just to identify that which invoice was paid later, and the debit and credit amount, that this is the invoice amount, and I think this is the payment amount. I think receipt, just forget this is receipt, this is payment, right? So let's create this entire automation. I hope you are with me. You got the query. I explained, I took 5 minutes to explain this query. I hope this is a problem statement of many of us, many of among us, because I in my office and other office I have seen, I this was asked by many of my colleagues. So let's put some message in the chat box. Is it yes? Is it no? Is it really a useful query that we face in our day-to-day life if we are working on GST? Okay. Okay, Rajendra ji is saying very useful. Okay, useful. Okay, that's great. Because this chat box is the only way I can communicate with you. I don't want to have some seminar where I am webinar where I am only speaking and you all people. I don't want to talk with the walls. Lokesh ji must have gave you the habit of keeping your cameras off. But whenever I do sessions, I always request people to keep the camera on, because that's the only way in this online world. This is a blessing as well as disguise, because with the help of online, now we are learning lots of things in Microsoft Excel and other features because of this online world. I am sitting in Noida. You must be sitting somewhere in the other another state of India or outside India as well. But still we are connected. But there is one thing that is very important: is we should connect each other. And we human, just like AI is completely into GPU, the graphic. It sees it is not into some black and white database. So just like the human is meant to see people, we just want to interact, we just want to see each other, and that's how we can learn more and more through this online as well. Yes, they Patil said we can also use this for MSME 45 days payment working. Absolutely. Because again, for 45 days, MSME 45 days, we need to identify one on one. So I'm damn sure once we understood the logic behind this automations, right? You would be able to create MSME 45 days creation as well. And you can do it, use it, this logic for multiple things as well. So because sometimes we have the late penalty clause in the contracts, where every invoice should be paid in a particular days. If it is not paid, that interest column should be there. Yes, this use case will help there as well. Sometimes the company has the cash discount policy as well, where if somebody has paid beyond the database, beyond the particular date, they are eligible for the cash discount. Yes, Salesh is saying show data and calculation file with summary. Don't worry, Salesh, I am not here to just show you. I will share this file with Lokesh. You can use this file, but before, not only I want to share this file with you. I want to make you learn that you can create this file with yourself after this session, right? So let's create this session. I will create this entire automation from scratch. Let's create from scratch, right? Are you with me to create this entire automation from scratch? Okay, great. So let's do it. So before starting, let me give you a brief that how we are creating it. This is the database which is being created with the help of Power Query. This is the calculation engine that we're gonna create logically with the help of Microsoft Excel and some Excel formulas. And then with the help of Power Query, we're gonna summarize it and we're gonna create a fully automated tools, right? So let's, I am opening a blank Excel file, right? So with the help of blank Excel file, only thing let's copy is, I will not focus on formatting right now. Okay. So now what I have done, 1 second. Okay. I have just copy and pasted the database here, right? So this is the database that was there in my file. Now I have just copy and pasted it. So let's think logically, what exactly is required? For mapping each and every invoice to a payment on FIFO method, we need to have two-way calculation. What is two-way calculation? Then we need to identify which invoice was paid out of that particular payment entry. And simultaneously, a particular invoice was paid from which payment entry. Are you getting my point? There are two ways. It may be possible that client must have paid one entry, let an example 5 lakh, which is a payment of two or more invoices. Simultaneously, one big invoice can be paid by two or more payment, right? Okay, simple that yes, it's a two-way calculation. It is not a simple calculation, it is two-way calculation where any payment can have two or more invoices to reference, and any invoice can be paid with the help of two or more payment entries. So let's create a calculation engine here. So for calculation, first of all, what we need? We need the payment details, right? For payment detail, what we need? We need serial number, client, date. We don't need invoice number here, and the amount. So I'm just simply copying and pasting it here, and instead of invoice number, I am writing amount, right? Simple. I just need payment details here. So for payment detail, there is a way I want to make it automated. So we need to get the data from here. Let me explain you again. This credit side is the payment. Just forget if debit or credit is here and there. Don't worry. This credit side, the payment side, and the debit side is our invoices. So we need these details to create a list of payment that is being received on client basis. So there is a formula in Excel that is called filter. That is called filter. What this formula say? It may possible that many people must have used this formula. If you have not used this formula, again, it is very simple formula. Filter is like you just need to extract a array, some data from a particular database based on some conditions, right? So that's what we are doing. So we are saying I am applying a filter formula, and I am saying that from this database, from client and date, I am giving it a more range because I want to make it dynamic. So I am not limiting it to 70. I am giving an extra database. So what I am writing, that B and C database, which include, what is the condition? So let an example, I am giving that if F column is greater than 0. Simply, just every formula has its own story. What filter formula is saying, give me this array where in F column value is more than 0. This is what filter formula is doing. So once we do it and if we click it, you will see that it has automatically given us all the payment entry. 18 payment entries are there. So if you want to cross check it, let's do it. Lokesh, I think just want to confirm you. I hope the time is not a limitation. We are or 9 p.m. is already there. We
No,
can
no, it's
stretch it
okay. It's
half an
okay.
hour.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's
So there are
amazing. We are learning.
oh great location. So there are 18 payment entries that were there in this Excel. So it has automatically taken it. So I have given the range of 7,000. I have increased the database. Why? That in case in future the database got increased, we don't need to change our formula. This is called array formula. I have not used any dollar or any kind of sign here, but I have mentioned the formula in single cell, but still it is working because the formula is there in single cell. That is called array formula. That is the beauty of Microsoft 365. If you people are not using Microsoft 365, come to this Microsoft 365 ASAP today itself, because Microsoft 365 is uncomparable to all the other versions. I will not discuss in detail because today is the Power Query, but once we will discuss someday in Microsoft 365 formula, I can speak for not only one day, I can speak for 7 days continuously. And after 7 days, you will stop me, sir, please stop. But believe me, I would still be having something to tell you about Microsoft 365. So let's discuss this. So I have applied the formula where I have extracted the data with the help of filter formula from that particular database. Now I need amount. So amount is there in F column. We can simply copy that formula that I have applied here in this for client and date. So I can change the database to the F. Now I want the F column. So I just simply copied the filter formula that I applied earlier to this particular formula, because in this filter formula, a range can be selected. One or two column, continuous column can be selected. Since there was one column in between my database, there are two columns in between my database. That's why I have applied two different formulas. But again, if I am here, I want to share some tricks with you. When we do automations, it is very important to have very defined data source, data links. So when I apply two filter formula, there in future, there may be a chance where you change the range for this thing, but you forget to change the range for this thing. It may happen because we are doing automation. We are not doing it for one day. We are doing it for entire future, for coming years. So how we can do it? Again, Microsoft Excel 365 has a solution for it. So it will, again, you need to do something extra to do it. So let's do one thing. Instead of putting two filter formula, let's create a single formula, and I will select from B to F entire 5 columns to in a single formula. Now this filter formula is giving me the 5 column as per my conditions, where F column has more than one and more than 0 figure, right? But the condition is I only want column number 1, 2, and 5. Then how we can do it? Microsoft 365 has many things. There is a formula that is called choose calls. Choose calls is choose columns. Similarly, choose rows are there. So if we apply choose column here, we can write down in this inverted comma 1, 2, and 5. I am writing down which column I want. So now instead of writing two formula, we can simply write, now if I delete it, even then it would be able to fetch the data from a particular source. So now it has automatically, this is a single cell formula. So whenever I want to change the database, we can simply change the range in the single formula only. Sequence, again, serial number, we need a dynamic sequence number. I don't want to put it 1, then 2, and then simply done this way. Or somebody will say, sir, I know the formula. We can simply say 1, and whenever I need something, I copy and paste it there. Again, is it dynamic? The answer would be no, because when the 19th entry will come, this formula will not exceed. So again, 365 is here only to automate and to create a dynamic result. So there is a formula called sequence in 365, right? And I'm writing this formula. I will not spend time to explain this formula because there are lots of things to be discussed. I will explain it somewhere else, or you can ask me personally after this session as well. I simply applied this formula, sequence rows in this array. So now this is dynamic. This formula is entire dynamic. Now my payment detail is there. My payment details are there. It is dynamic, payment details are there. Now what we need? We need our invoices detail. So in invoices detail, what we need? We need serial number, we need client name, we need date, we need invoice number as well as debit. So debit, instead of debit, I'm changing it to amount. Right? So let's do one thing. Okay. Again, we can apply the formula. Filter formula is there. I'm not applying one serial number. Filter formula is there where we can write down that yes, I need this debit data. I'm again increasing the range, and where this time note the F column, the E column is greater than 0. So once we did it, you will see that it is giving us entire details of the entire invoices. Again, we can simply copy this formula to have a dynamic serial number in this database, and it is there. For doing an automation, there is one more thing that is required, which is called unique identification number. Because I want to create every payment should have a unique ID. Unique ID should be there. So how we can create it? I am simply creating that with the help of client and serial number. If I merge these two columns, my database, I would be having a unique identification number. So how we can do it? We have already used choose columns formula is there. I want to have first column of this database. So I have applied the formula that is called choose column, first column. So I get the first column of this database. Now I am keeping a format that is called underscore and. I'm using simple and formula to merge this database. So now it has given me a unique identification of this payment entry. Why I have done it, I will explain you later, because when the automation is completed, you will let you know this is very important, because whenever I want to identify that which invoice was mapped with which payment ID. So this is because on this particular same date, there may be a multiple payment, or for a particular client as well, there will be multiple payment. So we have created a unique identification number. So there are 18 payments, and now we have the payment detail. Now we have the invoice detail with us. Now we need to identify that which invoice was paid from which payment entry, and for every payment entry, which invoice was met. So what we can do, let us first have this entire, again, I'm having some automation. So what I'm doing, I am putting, these are the invoice number. These are the invoice number. As I told you, this would be two-way reconciliation, two-way mapping. So these are the invoice number. These are the invoice number. Yes, we can use concat as well. We can use text join as well. I have used a simple formula. We can use text join as well. There is a formula called somebody write concatenate. Yes, we can use concat. We can use text join as well. But I would suggest whatever the formula we want to use, we can use. But use that formula that make your database dynamic. Why dynamic? Because I am writing a single cell formula which is expandable. In case my data is not of 18 rows, it is of 180 rows or 1800 rows, this formula will still work, and you don't need to copy and paste it on the lower side. So now what I have created, these are the invoice detail and these are the payment entries. There are 18 payment entries. So now it is there like a T, like a columns. Now we need to map. Just first of all, let's understand how it is going to be done. What is the requirement? It's not like we are doing it just because I am saying it. No, it is, we are doing it because this is the only requirement. Why? When I'm making payment of 14 lakh rupees, let's first reduce this amount. We did it for showing you something. Let's reduce it to 4 lakh only. Why 4 lakh? So that our payments are on that particular format. So let's see, for this invoice of 4,22,000, our payment is 4 lakh first payment on this. There is one prerequisite. I believe that entire data is sorted on the base of date, and by default Tally give us the date based sorted data. So that's why I have not applied any sort formula here, but I believe that entire data is sorted on the date basis. So what we are doing, what this 4,22,000 invoice was paid entirely through this invoice. So when I want to map this, so what should happen? It should write 4,22,000 from this payment. Now what will happen? Our payment entry has left this minus this. Let an example. I have used. So now it will be left with 49,000 rupees, which will be used for paying invoice number 2. And then invoice number 2 would be paid from 49,000, and how much will be remain? It will remain 88,000. Since the next payment is more than 88,000, our result should look like this. that for payment 1, it is first used to pay a full amount of invoice 1, and it is used to partially pay the invoice number 2. Logically, you are getting my point? Logically, that since the first payment was 4,71,000, so it is able to pay, this is in payment detail, every payment entry, that it is able to pay the entire amount of this invoice and a partial amount of this invoice, right? And whatever the remaining 88,000 is being paid by payment number 2. Why payment number 2? Because payment number 2 has more than 88,000 amount. So logically, payment number 2 will also pay entirely for the payment number 3, right? Invoice number 3. So, and for so on, if I just show you the result, now the payment number 2 will partially pay the invoice number 4, and so on. I'm showing you why it is two-way two-way data flow, because one payment is paying to the multiple invoices and one invoice is being paid by the multiple payments as well. I am giving it very slow just to give you a brief of this database. Don't worry, Lokesh will provide you the window. Just think logically. Formulas are not complex. If you stuck anywhere in the formula, even after this session, you can connect with me. I will explain you the formula. You will get comfortable with each and every formula that I am going to discuss here. Logically, this will happen. But now we need to automate this. So this looks very easy, but we need to automate it. So how we can do it? How we can do it? We can simply do what we can do. Let's take an example. First of all, bring the payment amount of this particular entry, right? So we can simply create with the help of XLOOKUP. Right now, XLOOKUP, we can do that this serial number has a payment number. We can simply put it here, okay, that I want to see this, and since I want to make it dynamic, so what I will do, I will freeze the row here, because once I will copy and paste it to the other columns, it will work dynamically. So I have freezed the row here, and then I am putting, since my serial number would be unique and the amount would be unique, now we can freeze this database. So what is happening? First of all, we bring the payment amount. But now what will happen? What will happen? This is not what we required. So what we need a minimum. There is a formula called min. Again, very simple formula, very basic formula. It is there from the inception of Microsoft Excel. When the Excel was introduced, it was there, minimum. What this formula do? This will give you the minimum amount of 2 figure. So what we are doing, I am saying one is the payment entry, another one is the invoice entry. When I'm giving the invoice entry, I will freeze the column. I hope you understand the concept of freezing and dynamic path of it. There are 3 types of path. One is fixed, another one is hybrid, and the link sometimes is freely, where you can, when you copy and paste it downside, when we use dollar, we can freeze the database. So that's how we use it. So what will happen? I have given a database where I have asked Excel to compare the payment and the invoice amount. It will give us the minimum value. I hope this was very simple. Logically, don't look at the formula. Formula may look complex, but think logically. What I have done, I have just bring out the payment entry as well as the invoice. But this formula will not help. Not help. Why? When I will copy and paste it here, right hand side, or I will post it on the bottom side, what it is doing, it is comparing the data payment entry to the invoice to the whole, but it is not giving the impact what has been already paid. So logically, again, let's think. When I'm talking about this column, I'm talking about payment, and when I'm talking about row, I'm talking about the invoice. So let's go this way. When I'm talking about payment, whatever the payment has been made above should be reduced when I'm comparing it to the next row, right? Just like we did 4,22,000. What was remained? I think 30, 40,000 was remained, 50,000 something was remained. So in second row, it should compare with the remaining amount. So we simply, what we are doing, we can simply minus whatever has been whatever has been added upside. Now what will happen if I copy this formula and press it here? Now it is comparing, because the result of this X lookup is 49,599. You got it? Because when it was checking this, it is checking the entire value. It is taking the entire 4,71,000 value. But since I have reduced whatever the paid earlier above, if now I copy and paste it on the downside, it will automatically check what has been paid above. So entire has been paid above. So this value is 0. Again, very logical, very logical. Nothing is there. Nothing very difficult is there. So it is just, if I go into this formula, you will see this value is, if I go on the minimum formula, it will say it is comparing 0 with the entire invoice value. I am explaining it again and again. It is very logical. It may seems like you are right. I may write complex formula. No. Simple logic. Whatever has been paid above has been reduced. Simple. Similarly, for K6, whatever has been paid in this row should be reduced. Simple. What we are doing, we are putting some formula that whatever has been paid, this is a small way of doing it, that whatever let me freeze. Okay,
Okay.
so whatever has been paid earlier should be reduced. This is done. Now if we copy this formula and paste it on the right hand side or lower side, this formula will work. Simple, very simple formula. Now if I copy this formula, but there may be many chances where we may not find some let us copy and paste it to the database. Let us see what is happening. Okay, and now we are copying it and pasting it to the entire database. Just see, it has automatically paid, it has automatically calculated the entire database. I think there is some mistake in this database. What is there? Because when I was using this XLOOKUP, I simply choose this one instead of using this UID. Why I have created this UID? Because there are multiple customers. This is not a single customer. There is second customer as well. That's why I created this UID. What is happening? Even the ninth number of payment, which was related to customer 2, was also used for customer 1, because we have not created any unique ID. When I was putting a formula XLOOKUP here, I simply selected the payment number, irrespective, giving it a link to a particular unique ID to a customer number, because I want to create an automation for multiple customers. So that's why what is happening, it is using the payment number 9, which is related to customer number 2, payment number 10, sorry, payment number 10, which is related to customer number 2 to pay, to set off with the customer number 1, right? So that's why I created the unique ID. Simply nothing need to be done. Simple, go into the XLOOKUP. Let's move to the XLOOKUP formula. So instead of writing this formula, let's again use this way, that this I'm freezing the column here, and just like we creating a unique ID here, we will create this unique ID, and instead of looking into a column, we will check in the A column. Simple. Again, XLOOKUP formula has been applied. Simply, the unique ID has been created, and let us see what we have given. We have selected the column number H. Okay, okay. I have selected the wrong. It should be H. So once we selected H, what we have done, let me show you on the other side. If I put the formula here, so you see I have applied this XLOOKUP to see to get this information not from the serial number, from this unique ID, because now it will match that customer ID as well before getting the challan number. So now if you just copy and paste it to the entire database, you will see that, okay, I think I have freeze something wrong here. Okay, when I pasted it here, it is still using this XLOOKUP E column number H. Okay, I wrongly freeze row instead of column. So let's just copy it and paste it again. And now let it calculate the database. Okay. So if it is giving error, why it is giving error? Because after 9, the client number 1 do not have any payment detail. So what simply we can do, we can simply put the formula. If error is there, then I am doing step by step. All the errors we are getting are the planned one. I want to show you that whenever we create automation, these error will come, but we need to think logically to add this formula instead of just showing the entire database, instead of showing this entire thought process. So let me just save this file as well so that we can refresh it. Okay. So now see, it has automatically segregated the entire calculation to column numbers client 1 and client 2, and it has mapped that many payments are being set off by multiple clients and some of the invoices are being paid using multiple payment challan. You see this formula, if I the automation that we already did, if I show you the formula, it is exactly the same. If error to minimum to this XLOOKUP to this UID, but if I directly applied this formula, we won't be able to understand the logic behind the creating this entire UID, if error and minimum and reducing this minus and everything. That's why I went step by step. Don't worry, just see the video again. You would be able to find each and every step very logically. There is no complex formula that I have applied. Now our entire calculation is there. But again, this is just a calculation. How I would be able to identify the weight to get a summary report to identify that which invoice was paid on which date, so that I can calculate that was it paid within 180 days or beyond 180 days, right? Okay, some people are asking me for Hindi. Okay, I am comfortable in both. I would be able to speak Hindi and English as well. Since there are many participants who are there from the south side as well, that's why I'm using English as a baseline. But Lokesh, whatever you suggest, we can do it. I hope I'm using very small, very basic English so that we all can understand.
Yes, it's very basic.
Right.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to take care of both type of audience because of North India and South India and other peoples. Many people are not comfortable in Hindi. They don't know even a small amount of Hindi. So that's the issue. But still, I will try to make it more simpler. I am taking some extra time just to explain you the depth of it. Now here comes the role of Microsoft Excel ends. But what happened? Now I need to calculate to give it a frame where I can map which invoice was paid on which date. But here is the limitation of Excel, that Excel, if I try to calculate and with the help of formula, it will give it either it is impossible, or if it is possible, that it will create such a complex formula that would not be possible for us to create. Here comes the role of Power Query. So for Power Query, as I told you, there are multiple ways of getting the data. One of the way is, if I put the cursor here, you will see from the table and the range. When we click on the table, our data is not in table. Since there is array formula, right? This formula will not work in the table. So there is an issue. I don't want to convert this data into table for bringing the data into the Power Query, but I need Power Query for this database. Then how we can do it? There is a very good way of doing it. Let's do it. How we can do it? With the help of formula, with the help of defined name. So let's name this. Let's give it a range. Let's give a name to this range. So I have selected some sample database and I'm giving a defining a name to it. And I am giving a name whatever I have selected. If you see, I have selected from G5 to AD51. As I told you, we want to create a dynamic result because right now the data is coming only into some few of this particular column. But in future, there may be more payments, there may be more number of rows for the invoice as well. So why not to increase it? Let's take it for 51,000. Let's, instead of AD, let's go for DD. Let's increase more columns. So I am giving a database where now this is my database. So now if you see, if I just put data here, what I'm showing you, I click here, now nothing is selected. In this name box, if I just type data, it will automatically select the range that I defined in my database, in my formula bar, right? Now, if I click on this path, it will not convert my data into table to move the data to the Power Query. So my data is intact there as the text without any range, a simple range, and my data is there in Power Query. So that's again a small trick you should use because that's a big problem whenever we use Power Query. So now my database is there in this. If you see, there are serial number, there are client name, there are date, there are invoice number, then the amount, and then this was a blank column, and then there were all the payment entries were there. Now I need to make a tabular database from this database so that I can calculate that what exactly the invoice, the difference number of days in which the payment was made. So let's do one thing. First of all, we already did. My header is on first row. So let's use first row as a header. After that, let's remove, I think, column number 6. We intentionally keep it blank, so it has no use. We just remove it, and you are seeing whatever we are doing, it is creating a record of each applied step. Now, what we need to do, if you see, the database is more into look like a pivot data because there are some databases there in the rows and then say in the columns. Whenever we create pivot, there are some rows, there are some columns in which the database is there. So this is a pivot data that is required to be unpivot to give it a tabular format. So that's the feature of Power Query where we just selected the 5 columns and I want to bring the entire payment entry, this row, into a column, particular column, and make it a tabular database. So what we will do, we will select the 5 column, do it right click, and there are 3 options there: unpivot column, unpivot other column, unpivot only selected columns. So we have selected 5 columns. We want to unpivot other columns. So we will select unpivot other columns. And now the entire database is there into tabular format. And now we can simply remove 0 because we have selected extra range. So if we remove 0, only the relevant entry. Now what it is saying that yes, 4,22,000 was paid out entirely out of payment number 1. And invoice number 2, the total value was 1,38,000, which was paid by 2 payment entry, one by 49,000 and another by 88,000. So now my database is there into a tabular format. But again, we use UID to identify the payment date and every payment entry has a UID. So let's do one thing. Let's create that UID here itself in Power Query. What we can do, we can simply select, for creating that UID, we need a client number and the attributes. Attribute in my payment ID. So we can use the add column here. And if I go into the add column tab itself says that it will add a column. So if we add a column and we want to merge this column, again, simply by using, it will ask you what delimiter what you want to use to merge this column, and let me give it a name UID. So what will happen? It will give me a UID based on that particular database. Now my client name is there, date is there. We can just simply change the date. My invoice number is there. I don't require these attributes now because I have the client number, I have the UID, and this is the value. We can put into value there. Now my entire database is there. I just simply click and move to my database, close and load. This is giving us the entire data entry, entire mapping history, that how the each invoice was paid from which payment detail. But now our work is still not completed, because what is happening, I need to identify the gap between the date of payment. So what we can do, we can simply select the payment date here. How we can calculate it? We can simply use XLOOKUP formula. We have the UID, and on the basis of UID, we can simply select that what was the date of payment of that particular thing. And we can identify days here. We simply need to this minus this. So it will automatically give us the number of days in which the payment was made. So if I want to calculate the interest, we can simply apply. If this is less than equal to 180, then it should be 0. Else, note this entire invoice amount, the amount which is paid late, into 18% interest rate multiplied by the number of days divided by 365, the simple formula. So what it will do again, but there is one mistake in this. It has calculated on the invoice value, on the payment value. But let's take an example. I'm creating a column where I will mention the GST rate here, and I'm taking that entire, for all the clients, 18% is the GST rate. So what we can do, we can simply multiply it with the GST rate. I am going some quick part here, but that's okay. Our work is already done. This is simple calculation that we all can do. So now it has calculated the entire interest calculation in the simple way. Now if I just remove this, you will see the interest calculation is here. And this is completely dynamic. I have not prepared the summary sheet. If I change the amount, just like we did it for our own automation, where 14 lakh 22,000 was the original amount, and we just move it, and we just go into the database, just go on the refresh all, and you will see it will automatically calculate, and the interest amount is 1,52,262. And we did it here where the summary report says that yes, it has 1,52,262 rupees, which was calculated. From this entire database, we can create this simple, this again, I have used the filter formula, and that's it. And it was done using, we can create this summary file. I hope the summary file is not that important. You can create it with the help of simple formula. I have written that formula into single cell. This formula is written here only. If you want to just create this summary file as well here itself, just for your sake, so that you can have a feel that yes, we have completed the entire database. So what we can do, I will simply copy it and paste it there just to save time, because it only 9:38. So let's save some time. And if I just copy and paste it here, so I hope it should work. So right now it is working it is giving a link. Let me apply the filter formula. Nothing is happening. It is simply saying I have selected this formula where I'm saying that interest is greater than 0. That's it. Now database is there. You can just format it, and you would be able to find out that yes, this entire 1,52,000 invoice wise delays of payment can be calculated easily with the help of this entire automation, which was prepared using Power Query, which was possible only because of Power Query. You can use this tool to calculate for GST late payment, MSME late payment, your contractual late payment, cash discount, and so on. The logically, This is the only way that I found we can do it. And you see, we created this entire automation by in this session itself. So this was not complex. This was just logical. So over to you, people. Now I'm done. If you have some query, definitely we can discuss. And if something to add here, if I miss something, I'm always here to help you out. So over to you, Lokesh.
Absolutely no words. First thing that I have to say, it's amazing. Definitely it will need little bit practice. Okay. So first thing I have done is unmute everyone. Now you can unmute yourself. If you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself.
जी बोलिए करना
Yes. Yes. Anybody wants to speak? I think it was anyone. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You so any
If you have
doubt?
any query, even after this session, you can contact us. Okay, all the recordings will be provided by the Lokesh itself, and if you just use this file, it may look that there may be some oh, this is very complex. Believe me, if I can create this file in front of you in half an hour, you can create this file, even if it in 1 hour or 1 or 2 hour. But after that, you would be very much familiar to these automations.
Definitely first time it will be little bit issues. Those who are not very comfort in formulas like this. Yes, yes, yes. You can unmute yourself, Harirao ji. You can unmute yourself. Yes. Please try now.
Yeah.
Hello.
First of
Yes.
all, sir, it's very beautiful, amazing. What a skill that you are having, sir. I'm not sure we are able to meet your requirement. So, unless we follow practice of fail 2 to 3, only we can able to understand, sir. Again, all the people are requesting in the session. If you sharing this file, it will be great helpful for us for practice, sir. Please.
Absolutely, absolutely, Harjaji. I will share this file with Lokesh, and Lokesh will share it with you. But just on
Yeah,
a personal side, I will request
yeah,
each
yeah.
and every. If you want to learn, don't use that file.
Okay.
See that video and
With
create the
yes.
entire file.
Yes. With
Yeah.
maybe
I'm telling
first
you,
you can try with 5 points or 5 rows of data. Then you will understand.
what is the
Yeah.
database? What
We
is the
will use
database?
this as a
Open this database.
database. We
You
will
can
keep we
create by
will
your
keep
own.
our own data. We will refer this file again and again, create our own data.
Sure. The data will be
Yeah,
shared with you
yeah,
by
sure.
Lokesh. But still, it's a personal request
Thank you
to each
very
and
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
my
Thank you,
name is
Ravi.
Prashant.
Yes, Prashant.
Hello.
First of all, thank you very much for providing this valuable session. Thank you, Lokesh ji. Thank you, Vijay ji. And
Thank you.
this gives me immense confidence that by learning this Power Query and all these techniques, we could able to complete the stat audits maybe in a couple of days, irrespective of the
Absolutely.
turnover of the companies. Last year, I struggled to complete all the audits within due date, and I felt disappointed. But this gives me a lot of confidence. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prashant. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sunil ji, want to say something?
Yes, you can unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
just wanted to. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Sunil ji.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand. I'm connecting tele, but it is taking a lot of time. So could you just help me out? How can it make it easy, smooth, or every time it will take the same load when I connect?
Okay. Sunil ji, this is a query. You have the right query. But the only thing is this is not related to today's session. So you can just connect with the Lokesh, and I'm sure Lokesh will be able to help you because connecting tally with the Excel
Right.
is with the ODBC. So Lokesh is expert of
Yes,
it.
I'm doing it.
And believe me,
Okay.
within seconds, he's gonna solve your problem.
Yeah, it is getting connected, but it is taking lot of time of the load and to transform the data load.
There may be two
Transform.
reasons. There may be only two reasons. One is your
Uh,
connectivity. Another one is the database. Another
right.
one, sometimes the database is heavy. So Power Query may
Right.
take time to fetch the data. However, it doesn't take so much of time. But still, if it is
Okay.
there, just showcase your system to the Lokesh or connect with me.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Because sometimes what happens, your system is not that capable of handling the big load.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Okay.
just
Right.
see
Got it.
your which i3, i5 or i7 and what type of processor
Right.
you are using. That is also much
Currently, it is
required.
i5. i5 with the 8 GB.
Okay. I would suggest, but in today's area, this is not enough because now that we are working on big data, i5 with
Right.
8 GB is not that big enough, but still you can connect and we can solve it after this session.
Sure. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, Vijay.
Okay. Anyone, any more doubts? Someone has raised hand. I think it was Sunil ji only. Anyone, any more doubts? No. So, Dil Mange more, but definitely it's already 10, 10, close to 10, and really good energy till the last. You are explaining every simple thing that you can. So it's amazing, and definitely in the chats also you can see that it's very, very, very value added. The main important thing that we first try is to add the value of our time. Those who have given us the time. So thank you, Vijayji. Thank you so much. And before we wind up, if anyone wants to say anything,
Yeah, I just add,
yeah, yeah.
learned couple of new formulas from Vijay Gupta ji in Excel, choose a column or something like, I had never learned about or I never heard about. Even I am using Office 365, but never used this formula. So that was good part. Coming to that logical formula, I mean, for me personally, it was really confusing, but it was really good logic which you had applied, and it's really beyond my thought process, frankly speaking, but it was really appreciable. It was very good part. So that's it. Thank you so much for wonderful case studies.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Shefali.
Okay.
And
Last thing I want to add.
difficult. Okay, give
Yes,
me one
yes.
minute. So Shefali, it is first of all, it is not complex. If you see the formula together, you will find it complex. Just have this four part. If error is different, minimum is different, this one figure is different, and this invoice figure is different. Take this formula into four part and then pack it up. You
Okay.
will find this formula very easy.
Okay.
Just bring this formula into four different rows, four different
Correct.
parts, and
Correct.
then pack it. You will be able to. Because of time limitation, I did it once. Else, I will create this formula into four column and then I will pack it.
Okay.
Another part that I would tell you, all the 40-50 people still live there. You talked about Microsoft 365. If you have not used choose columns, another formula, Microsoft 365 is changing day by day.
Yes.
Let showcase you as a bonus because people have stayed till here for 10 p.m. So Microsoft, we use Power Query to merge the data, to append the data from the
Correct.
data from a file, right?
Hmm.
Microsoft 365 has introduced the formula itself.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft 365 has changed the formula. Just check, there are no formula in Microsoft 365 import CSV, import text file. You
Mm-hmm.
can directly import text file and CSV file in Microsoft Excel without
Okay.
using Power. So
Well, I'm
Microsoft,
not going with the get data option and just using this formula.
yes, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Do not limit yourself. Microsoft 365 is giving lots of new things because CSV database and the text database is very much formatted database. That's
Uh-huh.
why it has given the formula that from a text file or from a CSV file, you can directly import data in Excel itself. You don't even need Power Query,
Correct.
right? So
So
keep on
entire
learning.
working can be done in Excel, what we do in Power Query. That is what you are telling.
Yes, but Power Query has more features that Excel doesn't have. You
Okay.
would be needing Power Query, but for more than that.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
My only context is I just want to say each and everyone
Yeah, there
keep
are additional for new formulas which we have in Microsoft Excel.
absolutely
Office 365. Sorry, Office 365.
Microsoft 365. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great.
Lokesh, over to you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, CA Vijay Gupta, and thank you, Lokesh Agarwal also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I will also add to the last, the PDF challan example is very, very relevant. Number one.
Yes,
Number
yes.
two, I myself was doing very, very long way. No doubt I was using Power Query, but I was doing it very, very long way. Really, I have one video. I don't know. Definitely you have not seen it, but exactly I have shown the same thing, but very long cut in the Power Query only, but very long cut by appending the files, merge files one by one,
Oh,
one by one. I did not know about the sample file. So what happens that I am just merging different queries one by one for each column. I knew about pivot unpivot, but this is really very good. Really very much learning session for me also. And it is really amazing. And a proof is that after 2 hours also, we have almost 50 participants. So Vijayji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
thank you, sir.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you to all the participants. Also, all the links, videos, files, everything I'm going to give in the description. Vijayji's number plus his LinkedIn ID where he is active. I am also going to give that. Okay. And last but not the least, those who have not joined the group, definitely you must or you can join. Okay. Once again, before we wind up, just I am giving the link for the group. Okay. And thank you for staying till the end. Just 1 second. And
Thank
special
you.
thank you, Vijayji. Special thank you.
Thank you so much, Lokesh. Thank you.
Okay. So I have given the
Good
group
night.
link. Those who have not joined, thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night. Good night. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.